Begin by simply listening. Slow down and see just how peaceful today can be. Thank you so much for being here. If this goes right, this is gonna be Batman the game and the Untold Legends of the Batman, the audiobook sort of thing. And here we go.
A beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the year 10,191. The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice expands consciousness. The spice is vital to space travel. The Spacing Guild and its navigators, who the spice has mutated over 4,000 years, use the orange spice gas, which gives them the ability to fold space. That is, travel to any part of the universe without moving. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. The spice exists on only one planet in the entire universe. A desolate, dry planet with vast deserts. Hidden away within the rocks of these deserts are a people known as the Fremen, who have long held a prophecy that a man would come, a Messiah, who would lead them to true freedom. The planet is Arrakis, also known as June.
Begin by simply listening. Slow down and see just how peaceful today can be. Thank you so much for being here. This is gonna be, if this goes right, Dracula Chapter 27 and Mega Man 3. I'm really excited. So good of you to be.
Thieves, look out. Thugs, beware. Killers, watch out. Wrongdoers, don't dare. In the deepest dark of night, for the danger. One man's holy flight, evil's only true avenger. Batman. bowels of the city, a solitary, dark-clad figure sits nestled in the shadows of a vast, sprawling cavern. Here the most modern scientific equipment looms beside the most ancient tools of the murderer's art, and countless unique trophies stand in mute testimony to the ability of one man. It is a cavern filled to bursting with the stuff of legend, the untold legend of the Batman!
Glad I had a chance to answer my mail before I got buried under it. This package is the last.
Ready for your evening repast, sir?
Thanks, Alfred. As ever, your timing is absolutely... Oh, no!
What is it, Master Bruce?
It's a costume, Alfred. Or what's left of it. The costume worn by the first Batman. My father.
But that's impossible, sir.
I know it is, Alfred. That costume has always resided in a place of honor. Right here in the Batcave.
Indeed, sir. I dusted the display case just yesterday. Surely the original costume must still be there.
Here, see for yourself, old friend.
Merciful heavens, it's
Empty! The costume is gone. And in its place, there's a message taped to the case from the inside.
What does it say?
This is only the beginning, Batman. Before I'm done, I will destroy you.
Master Bruce, are you all right? You've been pushing yourself rather hard lately.
It's nothing, Alfred. Just a slight headache.
Your problems with the Catwoman, the warehouse explosion.
It'll pass. What won't pass is the fury that I'm feeling right now.
That old costume was precious to you, wasn't it, sir?
Old friend, nothing I've ever owned was more precious. If not for this outfit, there might never have been a Batman. I can still see my father wearing it in the night of the charity costume party.
I wish I could wear a suit like that, Daddy.
I'll save it for you, Bruce, to wear when you grow up.
The theme of the ball was flying creatures, and Dad's costume took first prize, just seconds before 3 gunmen took Dad.
We figured there'd be a doctor in this fancy crowd. Yeah, better come with us, Doc, before somebody gets hurt.
It seems I have no choice.
The punks brought Dad to an old warehouse, where their boss sat waiting.
You're Lou Moxley, the bank robber the police are after. Yeah, one of them winged me, and I want you to remove the slug.
Dad knew that once he extracted the bullet, Moxon would never let him live. He saw only one way to save himself. He took it. And before the startled thugs could react, they joined the other wounded mobster on the floor. By the time Moxon and his men recovered, the police had arrived, including a young lieutenant named James W. Gordon.
And you'll be willing to testify, Dr. Wayne? Lieutenant, it will be my pleasure.
The trial was one of the shortest in Gotham City's history, thanks mostly to my father's detailed testimony. And when the furious Moxon was sentenced to 10 years in prison...
You did this to me, Wayne. I swear I'll get you for this. I'll get you.
And several weeks later, as my parents and I walked home from a movie through a fashionable neighborhood that was then called Park Row.
Okay, this is a stick-up. I'll take that necklace you're wearing, lady.
You hoodlum, don't you dare lay a hand on my wife.
Maybe now you'll keep quiet.
Thomas? Help, please! Help!
Ah, this will shut you up, sister.
They're dead. You killed them.
Hey, stop looking at me like that, kid. Stop looking at me.
You killed my mother and father. You.
An instant later, the killer fled, leaving me behind with my grief. The murderer's name was Joe Chill, and his face would haunt me the rest of my life. For a seeming eternity, I knelt beside my parents' bodies, weeping, until a gentlewoman named Leslie Tompkins took me into her arms and did her best to soothe my pain. I still owe her for that, a debt I can never fully repay. At the funeral, I was all cried out, so I simply stood there and bid a silent farewell to the two people I loved the most in all the world. I have not shed a single tear in their memory since. Later, my Uncle Philip, who'd been appointed my guardian, introduced me to his housekeeper.
I have to travel a bit, Bruce, so I'm putting you in the care of Mrs. Chilton.
I have grown sons of my own, Bruce. It'll be nice having a boy around again.
I hope so, ma'am.
Mrs. Chilton saved my sanity, Alfred. She cared for me, comforted me, taught me honesty and integrity. In so many ways, she was like a second mother to me.
But regrettably, she was also the mother of that murderous Joe Chill. Though Master Bruce must never know that. In her own fashion, that woman more than made amends for her son's heinous crime.
I tried to feel at home in my uncle's house, but my spirit knew no peace. Until at last, driven by emotions I could no longer control, I knelt by my parents' graveside, and an angry sky bore witness as I made a solemn vow.
I swear I'll dedicate my life and my inheritance to bringing your killer to justice and to making war on all criminals. I swear it!
I was a pre-adolescent boy, impatient to be a man, and the work was hard, but I welcomed it. I needed it, and nothing would keep me from it.
Thanks for the milk and cookies, Mrs. Chilton.
You're welcome, Bruce. But shouldn't you be out playing with the other boys? Too much studying isn't good for you.
I can play later. I have more important things to do.
That poor boy. Seems that when his folks died, a part of him died with them.
It was almost a year to the day after the murderers when I saw the headline.
Police Detective Harvey Harris nabs Skyway robber. This Harvey Harris is one of the greatest detectives of them all. If I could only be like him when I grow up. Maybe if I convinced him that I have some detective ability, he'd be willing to teach me. But I can't let him know who I am. He'd do his best to discourage me. I'll just have to find some way to keep my identity secret.
And that night, in the privacy of my own room, I took a fateful step.
This bright red costume with its green cape, it's a bit fanciful, but it ought to do the job. The next step is to catch Mr. Harris alone after he leaves headquarters.
It was the first time I ever went forth in costume, and I stepped into something I hadn't bargained for.
Harris was trailing someone, but the guy knows he's being followed and is waiting in ambush. I've got to do something. Fast!
Huh? Stanton was waiting for me, but someone pushed that big tin advertising display off the roof and nailed him.
And when uniformed officers had taken Harris's would-be assailant away...
Well, young fellow, it seems I owe you a lot. Who are you?
I can't tell you that, Mr. Harris, but I can tell you this. You're the greatest living detective, and I want to be your pupil.
Well, I do owe you a debt, so I'll teach you something about my profession. And since you're as brilliant as Robin Redbreast in that outfit, I think I'll call you Robin.
Swell! What do I learn first?
First, you'll learn that detective work is no light-hearted game, but a life of hard work, of loneliness, and danger.
And no student ever had a better teacher than Harvey Harris. At his side, I was taught the finer points of boxing, the subtleties of fingerprint identification, and the dangers that were all too commonplace in what was to be my chosen career. But I studied, and more importantly, I learned. And when that spectacular summer was finally through...
You're good, son, but you still need years of practice. But one day, when you're fully trained, when you're fully grown, you may well become the greatest detective of us all.
I'll do my best to make you proud of me, sir.
Although I didn't know it then, Harvey Harris was the first person to solve the secret of my double identity. But he's long dead now, rest his soul. So that eliminates him as a suspect in this.
I should certainly hope so, sir.
Still, as the years passed, I never forgot what Harris had taught me, and I trained myself as best I could, striving for physical perfection. When I turned 18, I could have been Olympic material if I had so chosen. But for me, there never really was a choice. I had to continue my education if I was ever going to fulfill my childhood vow. My college major was in criminology, so I excelled at it, out of necessity. I made certain I learned everything. I minored in psychology because I needed to know more than just the criminal method. I had to understand the criminal mind as well as I knew my own. But it was in my law class, under the tutelage of Professor Amos Rexford, that I learned my greatest lesson.
Rexford is smiling today, Bruce. Looks like we're really in for it.
If that's a smile, I'd hate to see the man when he's frowning.
When you're all seated, we can begin. Two 19-year-old boys steal a car for a joyride. Along the way, one of them changes his mind and asks to be let out of the car. Before his friend who is driving can comply, the car accidentally strikes an old woman crossing the street and kills her. Should the boy who changed his mind still be charged with felony manslaughter? Mr. Wayne.
Granted, the second boy stole the car, Professor, but he had no part in the accidental death. I would find him guilty on car theft, but not manslaughter.
And you would be wrong. Under the law, the second boy was just as guilty of complicity as if he had been behind the wheel.
But is that justice, Professor Rexford?
No, Mr. Wayne. That's the law.
Thus, after graduation, as I stood once more before my parents' graves. Forgive me, Mom, Dad, but I can't become a policeman as I intended to. They're too often hamstrung by the very laws they're sworn to uphold. No, there has to be another way, and I swear I'll find it. My father's shrewd investments had left me one of the country's wealthiest men, and I needed a way to put that fortune to use. There's only so much that one man can do, but throughout history, there have been figures who have become rallying points for men of goodwill everywhere. King Arthur, Robin Hood, the Scarlet Pimpernel. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe I have to become more than a man. I've got to become a symbol. Criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot. So I have to wear a disguise that will strike terror into their hearts. I must be a creature of the night. Black, terrible, like a... And, as if in answer, a dark winged shape flew in through the open window. A bat! That's it! It's like an omen. I shall become a bat. And thus was born a weird figure of the shadows, a dark avenger of evil, the Batman. Someday I'll find my parents' killer. Someday. In the years that followed, I hunted down some of the greatest criminals the world has ever known. The Joker, Two-Face, the Penguin, Catwoman, the Riddler, and more. I stared into the face of pure, unadulterated evil more times than I care to remember. But the face was never the right face. The face of my parents' killer. Ironic, isn't it, Alfred? All those years training to become the world's greatest detective, all those supervillains I fought and defeated, and still I couldn't track down one lousy two-bit gunman. Of course, I didn't have much to go on then, only a face. The name wouldn't come until later. It happened all by accident, really, as Robin and I stopped to check out a transport truck that had crashed by the side of the road.
Batman, look! A secret door in the truck's side, and there's a man coming out!
Batman and Robin, well, you ain't taking me in. I'll measure you for a coffin first.
But before the cornered thug could pull his trigger, an arriving patrolman put an end to his threat. To his wasted life as well. By the time we reached police headquarters, Commissioner Gordon already had a fistful of information.
It's a whole new kind of racket, Batman. Smuggling hot crooks across the state lines. The new owner of the trucking company is a man named Joe Chill. Here's a recent photo of him.
That face, after all these years, it's him. This is the face of the man who killed my parents. For the next few weeks, Robin and I tried in vain to nail Chill for his crimes, until I had only one option left. There's only one way to stop Chill. It's a desperate move, but I have to make it, even if it means the end to Batman's career. And so, after all those endless years, I confronted Joe Chill. Chill, I want to tell you a story without an ending, but maybe you can supply one. It began several years ago, when Thomas Wayne, his wife, and young son Bruce were stopped by a bandit.
Did you say Wayne?
The bandit killed Thomas Wayne and his wife, then, frightened, ran away, but not before young Bruce memorized his features. Bruce Wayne can still identify that killer, Chill. It was you.
You're bluffing, Batman. How do you know what really happened?
I know because I am the son of the people you murdered, Chill. I know because I am Bruce Wayne.
No!
Chill ran again, then I let him. He was scared now, and this time I would be waiting. He made a mistake. But in desperation, Chill ran to the repair garage of his trucking line.
Hey, fellas, please. I need your help. You see, years ago, I knocked off a guy, and now his son is after me. And this guy's son, he's the Batman. You killed the Batman's father? Oh, you're kidding.
It's true. I swear it. Batman just told me who he really is. He said he became the Batman because I killed his folks.
You mean you're the reason for the Batman? The guy who sent me up the river?
Oh.
You're responsible for the man who broke up my numbers racket?
You inspired the manhunter who put me in the pen?
Oh.
And almost as one, the hate-crazed clubs meted out their own perverse kind of justice.
It's all because of
you!
And when cold sanity returned seconds later.
We must have gone trigger-happy. Do you guys realize what we did?
Yeah, we plugged Chill before he could tell us Batman's real name.
Hey, wait, Chill's still alive. Maybe he can talk.
Maybe so. But you three won't be in any condition to hear what he has to say.
It's the Batman!
Got him!
Did you learn anything from the lesson of Joe Chill? I don't like guns. Or the cowardly creeps that use them. And when the three thugs sprawled unconscious on the floor. Still with us, Chill?
Yeah, but not for long. Funny, ain't it? Because I started you off as the Batman. The boys plugged me. Guessing in the long run, you got me after all.
No, Joe. The Batman didn't finish you. It was Bruce Wayne. I thought that put an end to the Wayne murder case, Alfred. I put away the file and I marked it closed. But I was wrong.
Indeed you were, sir.
It was a year or so later, and we were cleaning out the attic, when I accidentally discovered a secret drawer in my father's old desk.
There's a can of film and an old diary hidden in here.
And this old costume. I think I've seen it before, on my father. You can't imagine how I felt watching that amateur film. Seeing my father again as I remembered him. So warm, so strong. Knowing that death would soon still that smile forever. The home would be ended with Dad's kidnapping. But the diary, written in my father's own hand, told me everything else I needed to know. This means Joe Chill only pretended to be the hold-up man, and he was actually Lou Moxon's hired killer. Moxon must have ordered Chill not to kill me, so I'd be able to testify that my parents were killed by a frightened robber.
Good grief, Bruce. Moxon used you as his alibi.
And now he's going to pay for it. Get into your costume, Robin. We've just reopened the Wayne murder case. We quickly learned that Moxon was now in the advertising blimp business out in Coast City, and we wasted no time getting there. I don't know what we may find here, Robin. This is as good a place as any to start. What we found was trouble with a capital T. And my uniform was in tatters by the time we finally finished with Moxon and his mom. Come on, Moxon. You've got a long overdue date with the police. But when we actually brought Moxon into police headquarters... Lou Moxon, I'm charging you with the murder of Dr. Thomas Wayne.
Huh? I never heard of any Dr. Wayne, and I'm willing to take a lie detector test to prove it.
I hammered questions at Moxon as if they were coffin nails. But when the interrogation was finally over...
See for yourself, Batman. The needle didn't jump once. Nobody can beat this machine, so he must be telling the truth.
But this isn't possible. It can't be. I stood by helplessly as Moxon was released on bail for assault and battery, and I could feel him laughing at me behind my back all the way. In desperation, I called Commissioner Gordon. And my pulse quickened as he told me.
Moxon was in a car accident right after Dr. Wayne was murdered, and he sustained a head injury. One day, he wandered away from the hospital and simply faded out of the picture. Until now.
Then that head injury must have given Moxon amnesia. He honestly doesn't remember Thomas Wayne. But as I prepared to confront Moxon with this knowledge...
Your costume is really shredded, Batman. And you didn't bring a spare. How about wearing your father's costume?
Why not? It would certainly be appropriate. It would be almost as if Dad were arresting Moxon. Later, alone in his office, Moxon looked up to find a grim figure framed in the doorway. I've come for you, Moxon.
Who? That costume. I've seen it before. So long ago from a doctor. Doc Wayne. Yeah, he wore that outfit. But he's dead. Go away! You're dead! I paid Joe Chill to kill you. Just leave me alone!
It's more than I could have hoped for. The shock of seeing this old costume has restored Moxon's memory. In a blind panic, Moxon raced past me, out into the street, and directly into the path of an oncoming truck.
Keep away from me, Wayne! Keep away from me!
Lou Moxon died with my father's name still on his lips. I'd wanted to take him alive, to stand trial for his crimes, but his own guilt convicted him in a far higher court. The night was oddly peaceful when I stood by my parents' graves for the final time and said goodbye. It's over, Mom. Dad. Finally over. I've done as I promised you. Perhaps now you can finally rest in peace. I have not been back to the cemetery since. But my parents are with me. They'll always be with me in spirit. Whoever is behind this may destroy a costume, but never a dream.
Did you learn anything from the remnants, sir?
Not enough, Alfred. Not nearly enough. But the hunt is only beginning.
I'll keep the home fires burning, sir.
And with that, the sleek Batmobile roars through a lengthy tunnel to exit the Batcave with a secluded cul-de-sac called Finger Alley, several blocks distant. The black-cloaked legacy the Dark Knight's father had unwittingly left him had been destroyed. And there is nothing that can be done about it now, save to exact some small measure of vengeance. Eyes narrowed, jaw clenched, the grim Batman's own words of earlier this evening come back to him anew.
I have not shed a single tear in my parents' memory since their funeral.
He had said, and he had been right until now.
About time you showed up.
What? No.
Years it has been whispered, in the dark dens of the wicked, in the bright halls of the just. Now at last, it can be told. You can almost see the air, dirty gray with cigarette smoke, and thick with the smell of the sea. The bar is called the Last Resort, a gathering place for those with nowhere else to go. And it has been a safe haven for those who skirt the edges of the law. That is, until tonight.
Christ! It's him! What in blazes is he doing here?
Silently, the dark-clad intruder strides across the smoke-choked barroom. One glance into his murderously cold eyes sends burly men who pride themselves on their viciousness scrambling out of his path. When he stops, so do half the hearts in the room.
I figured I'd find you here, snitch.
I've been keeping my nose clean, Batman. What do you want from me?
What I always want, snitch. Information. I received a package in the mail today, containing a costume. Or rather what was left of one. I want to know who sent it.
So what do I look like, anyway? The post office? Hey, I ain't heard nothing about no packages. And even if I did know something, I...
For the barest instant, the informant's gaze wanders past the Batman's shoulder. And in that self-same instant, the Dark Knight moves.
Huh?
If you want to play rough, punk, you picked a bad night for it. That wasn't very smart, snitch. I just wanted to talk.
Stay away from me, Batman. I'm warning you.
But now I'll get my answers another way.
Keep back, or I'll blow you away.
You dare? You dare to pull a gun on me? Don't you ever point a gun at me again. Never! Do you hear me? Never!
That's enough.
Huh? Robin! What?
Just protecting your back, Batman. Don't you think you've done enough here?
Yes, of course. There's nothing more this punk can tell me. Let's get out of here, Robin.
My thoughts exactly, Batman. You fellas try to keep out of mischief now, here.
The faces that watch the Cape Crusaders as they leave the battle-torn room are flushed with an awkward mixture of hatred and relief. Then, moments later, on the fog-shrouded wharves...
You're sure you're all right, Batman? For a while in there, it was looking pretty hairy.
I'm fine, chum. But I'm furious. Somebody broke into the Batcave and stole the original Bat costume once worn by my father. Then nailed me to pieces. Now I intend to find that thief and reduce him to pieces as well.
And, as the powerful Batmobile roars through the winding streets of Gotham City...
He's taking this hard, and I can understand why. He and I are so much alike in so many ways. He's not the only one who knows how it feels to see your parents murdered before your eyes. That night in Newtown, those many years ago, as the Flying Graysons performed their circus trapeze act for the final time, I stood watching proudly as my father performed his specialty, the triple spin.
Let me through! They're not...
I'm afraid they are, son. For your own sake, stay back. There's nothing more you can do for them except mourn.
My parents were gone, and for the first time in my life, I was alone. So terribly, terribly alone. Bruce Wayne's parents also died by violence, gunned down on the street by a punk named Joe Chill. But while it took Batman years to track down his parents' killer, I learned the truth that same night.
Too bad about the accident, Howie.
Yeah, you should have taken our advice.
There wouldn't be no accidents if you paid us to protect you.
You filthy murderers, all right. All right, I'll pay your extortion money, but only so that no one else will be killed.
Now you're talking smart, Allie.
Those animals! They murdered my mother and father. I'm going to the police.
No, son, not yet.
Ooh.
I am called the Batman, and I want to help you get those killers. You can't go to the police yet, son. Come with me, and I'll tell you why.
I don't know why I trusted him then. This terrifying figure, like something out of a nightmare. There was something in his eyes, something in the tone of his voice. He led me to a tank-like machine he called the Batmobile, and soon after, on a lonely country road... Okay, why can't I tell the police?
Because this entire town is run by a man called Boss Zuko, son. If you talked, you'd be dead within the hour. I'm taking you to safety until I get enough evidence to nail Zuko. I have a special interest in you, because my own parents were also killed by a criminal. That's why I've dedicated my life to fighting crime.
Then help me! Give me a chance to avenge my parents. I kept pleading with him, begging. Something in my voice must have touched something in the Batman's soul.
All right, Dick. I'll give you a chance, but I warn you, I lead a perilous life.
I'm not afraid. That night, with only God and the Batman as my witnesses, I swore an undying oath.
Swear that you will fight against crime and corruption, and never swerve from the path of justice.
I swear it! And the following day at Gotham City Courthouse...
I can't let you adopt the boy, Mr. Wayne, because you're a bachelor. But since you've obtained the consent of his nearest relatives, I hereby appoint you Dick Grayson's legal guardian.
As simply as that, a lifelong bond was formed between us, and my training for my chosen career began in earnest. Acrobatics, criminology, the martial arts. I learned all that I needed to know, and then some. Finally, after months of exhaustive effort...
You're almost ready, Dick. But to operate with the Batman, you'll need another identity, a costume, and a new name.
Well, since you're the Batman, maybe I could take the name of a different flying creature.
I was thinking precisely the same thing. How do you like the name Robin?
It's perfect! The legendary Robin Hood was always one of my favorite heroes. I didn't know it then, but I wasn't the first Robin. Bruce himself had worn the costume when he was a boy. But as I donned this red and green outfit for the first time, it didn't matter to me. I stared into the mirror and saw a hero staring back at me.
It fits you like you were born to wear it, Robin.
Who knows? Batman, maybe I was. 24 hours later, we were back in Newtown. on the trail of Boss Zuko. So we were there when the mobster murdered his own henchman. And I took the photo that sent Zuko to the electric chair. But being the sidekick of the legendary Batman was like a dream come true. Being the ward of millionaire playboy Bruce Wayne was something more like a nightmare. At parties, for example, I was looked on as some kind of pet.
Ooh, aren't you just the cutest little thing?
Shame on you, Lucy, for not introducing us to this angel sooner.
And at school, it was even worse.
Say, your old man's money can't buy you out of this one, rich boy. You gotta put up your dukes. Or are you too chicken, huh?
Leave me alone, Wally. I can't fight you.
Chicken, chicken, Grayson is a chicken.
They're wrong. They don't know how wrong. I just couldn't fight Wally. Not when I could cripple him with both hands tied behind my back. Why? Why do they make it so hard? Why don't they understand? Why can't I just be like everyone else? But I wasn't like everyone else, and I knew it. I had sacrificed my chance to lead a normal life so that other people could. Because somebody, somehow, had to make a difference if life is going to be worth living at all. Still, for a while there, it seemed as if my adolescence would go on forever. Until that bright June morning when I finally picked up my high school diploma and left a way of life behind me.
He looks splendid, Master Bruce. Simply splendid.
That's our boy, Alfred. Only he isn't a little boy anymore.
That fall, I left Wayne Manor for Hudson University, and that sprawling old mansion suddenly ceased to be a home.
This place is too big for just two of us, Alfred. It's time for a change.
Within the week, Bruce had closed Wayne Manor, moved lock, stock, and Alfred into the penthouse crowning the offices of the Wayne Foundation. Once again, the Batman became a vital part of the city that he loved. The Dark Knight adventure had finally come home.
For a moment, the Teen Wonder pauses in his reverie. As the sleek Batmobile slips unseen into the secluded cul-de-sac called Field Alley, then along a hidden path, which leads to the sprawling Batcave hidden beneath the towering Wayne Foundation building.
Welcome home, sirs. Would you care for something to drink?
Not now, Alfred. I'm busy.
As you wish, sir. Master Dick, perhaps you?
I'll take a Dr. Pepper, Alfred, if you've got one.
I'm just so glad you answered my summons, young sir. Frankly, I'm worried about Master Bruce. He just hasn't seemed himself lately. He's so driven.
That's completely understandable under the circumstances, Alf. That old costume of his dad's meant a lot to him.
But there's more to it than that, young Robin. Ever since that warehouse explosion a few days past, Master Bruce has been a different man. As if he's suddenly realized his own mortality, and is struggling to deny it.
I know what you mean, Alfred. I saw an example of it a little bit earlier tonight. I guess that's the major difference between me and Bruce. To me, crime fighting has always been an adventure, but to him it's a holy mission. Still, I suppose you can't really blame the man. He's known a lot of pain in his life.
So have we all, Master Robin. So have we. I saw pain beyond imagining in the final days of the Second Great War, as I did my part to help countless refugees escape the Nazi oppression. And heaven forgive me for the pain that I myself inflicted in the course of that noble endeavor, so that men of goodwill everywhere could be free once more. It was a terrible time, a lonely time, but there was still satisfaction in the knowledge of a job well done. I was saving lives, and in the end, that was all that really mattered. When the war at last was over, I had seen enough of violence to last me a lifetime, more than enough. I put away my weapons and returned to my one true love, the stage. But alas, my beloved father was not a well man, and when the day finally came when I knelt by his deathbed...
For generations, there has been a pennyworth in domestic service, my son, until now. Swear you won't let that grand old tradition die with the Alberts. Swear!
I swear, Father. That is what you wish. But that grand old man could no longer hear me. Heartbroken, but bound by my oath, I left the London theatre in the able hands of my older brother Wilfred, and booked passage on the first ship bound for America. My father had spent many joyful years there in the employ of a prominent Gotham City physician. Assuming his heir might well have need of me, I made my way directly to Wayne Manor. Good evening, gentlemen. I trust I haven't disturbed you. I'll just set my luggage down, if you'll permit me, and then we can discuss my duties.
Now, wait just 1 minute. Exactly what can I do for you, mister?
You may call me Alfred, without the mister, and it is I who will do for you, sir. I trust you'll find my references in good order. You see, I'm your new butler.
Butler? But I haven't had one in years. I didn't send for one, and I'm afraid I really don't want one.
We found we can get along better without servants of any kind.
It may be a bit awkward at first, sir, but I dare say you'll get used to me. My father faithfully served your father, and now I shall serve you. It's the way of the world, sir. Breakfast shall be served promptly at 7. I would appreciate punctuality. Good evening, sirs. I shall find my own way to my room. I settled into my new duties more quickly than I ever would have imagined. Perhaps my father had been right. Perhaps this was the life I was born to lead. But it was on chill autumn night several weeks later, as an unnatural moaning filtered through my bedchambers, that the course of my life was forever set.
Alfred!
Eh? Someone, something, calling my name. And Master Bruce and young Dick are out for the evening. Perhaps it's a ghost. The voice, it seems to be coming from the old clock. Summoning all my courage, I examined the antique timepiece and discovered a hidden portal, a secret staircase winding downward. But who?
Alfred! Come down here, quickly! Quickly, Alfred! I need your help! The Batman, Bruce, has been injured.
Great Godfrey, young Dick! You and the Master, you're the Batman and Robin! Hurry, lad, we've got to get Master Bruce up to his bed. Fortunately, the Master's wounds were slight, and when he recovered, he introduced me to a world beyond my wildest imagining.
Yes, Alfred, the Batcave is hidden here beneath Wayne Manor. And you're the only other person in the world besides Dick and me who knows its location.
You can rely on my discretion, Master Bruce. To be butler to the legendary Batman is indeed an honor. And from that moment forth, I did double duty, as gentleman's gentleman to wealthy Bruce Wayne, and as faithful aide-de-camp to the Dark Knight detective. And I've never regretted a single moment of it all. Caring for Masters Dick and Bruce has filled a void in my life, given it purpose again. For the first time since the Great War, I am involved in a noble cause once more, striving for the right, and I would gladly give my life in that cause should ever the need arise. Your soda pop, Master Robin?
Huh? Oh, thanks, Alfred. Just put it down, I'll get to it.
Have you uncovered any likely suspects yet, sir?
Yes, old friend, you might say that. You want suspects, Alfred? Here, look at these photographs. Take your pick. There isn't a single person in that unpleasant collection who doesn't have ample reason to hate me. And all of them are justified.
I dare say that all depends on one's perspective, sir.
Perhaps, Alfred, but the facts can't be denied. Take the Joker, for example. He wouldn't be the grotesque clown he is today if it weren't for me. When we first clashed at the Monarch Playing Card Company, he was merely a master criminal who called himself the Red Hood. You might as well give up, Hood. There's nowhere left for you to go.
Wrong, Batman! Left with no alternatives, I can always go down!
Great Scott! He's diving into the plant's catch basin for all the chemical waste. The liquid empties out into the river, but he'll never make it. That deadly chemical mixture will finish him first. But I had reckoned, without the special oxygen system built into that bizarre crimson helmet, the Red Hood survived his swim through the very thick of those noxious chemical wastes. But he didn't survive unscathed.
No! It's not possible! All those foul chemicals did something to me. They turned my skin chalk white, my hair emerald green, my lips ruby red. I look like a clown, an evil, cursed clown!
At first, he was terrified, until he realized his new face could also terrify others. And since a playing card company was indirectly responsible for his new face, he named himself after the card in the face of a clown. The Joker!
Regrettable, sir, but what happened to the Joker was indisputably his own fault.
Of course it was, Alfred. Do you want to try telling him that?
Point taken. But they're not all like that. Heck, if not for you, this character would almost certainly have died all those years ago.
I know, Robin, and I've often wondered if you might have been a lot happier if you had. Of all those who've ever crossed my path, Harvey Dent is probably the most tragic. He was Gotham City's youngest district attorney, a man on the rise, until the Boss Maroney trial put an end to his career forever.
Will you please repeat what you just told the court, Batman?
Gladly. Boss Maroney is the man who shot Bookie Benson.
He's lying, I tell you. Is he, Maroney? Then explain this. Maroney's own lucky piece, a two-headed silver dollar, found at the scene of the crime with Maroney's fingerprints all over it. Blast you, pretty boy. I'll fix you for that.
Maroney moved fast for a fat man, but I moved faster. I just didn't move fast enough. Look out, Dent! He's throwing acid!
Ah! My face!
For more than a month, Dent's tortured face was swathed in bandages. Then, at last...
You were lucky, Mr. Dent. That Batman's hand deflected that acid, so it only struck on one side of your face.
I appreciate that, Doc. Now, please finish unraveling me and hand me a mirror. No! No! My face! What have you done to it? I've become hideous! Hideous!
The shock of that moment was more than Harvey Dent's fragile mind could stand, and it sent him screaming over the edge. Maroney's two-headed lucky piece became his new trademark, and Dent himself became Two-Face! You begin to see the problem now. The possibilities are almost limitless. I've made too many enemies in my life, too many powerful enemies. And to make it worse, some of them, like Ra's al Ghul and Professor Hugo Strange, have even learned my true identity.
Well, we've got to start somewhere, chums. And since you don't have a better idea, why don't we try police headquarters?
Frankly, I'd rather not. This is a private affair.
Well, it's not likely to stay that way if you're gonna keep mopping up the streets of Gotham with punks like Snitch. Come on, let's get moving. It won't hurt as much if you don't take time to think about it. Besides, Commissioner Gordon is one of your oldest friends. If he can't help you, then nobody. Huh? Hit the deck, everybody! Someone has tampered with the Batmobile's ignition. This baby's about to explode!
Alfred, are you okay?
Certainly, sir, though I fear my poor wardrobe may never be the same.
I tell you, fellas, that's about as close as I ever want to cut it. If I hadn't noticed that. I almost hate to say it, Batman, but I think this note is for you.
Not again. Not again! One by one, I will destroy the things that make you what you are, and then I will destroy you. All right, Mr. Whoever you are. You've been asking for a war, and now you have one. And it's a war. Only one of us will survive.
Look out, thugs beware, killers watch out, wrongdoers don't dare. In the deepest dark of night, he waits for the danger. One man's holy flight, evil's only true avenger. Batman, Batman, Batman.
I've been on the receiving end of this long enough. It's about time I started dishing it out.
Where are you going, sir?
To track down the maniac behind all this, one way or another. The two of you attend to things here until I get back.
And miss out on all the action? You've got to be kidding, chum.
I've never been more serious, Robin. This is my fight, not yours. And I intend to finish it, alone.
Sure, Batman. Anything you say.
I've never seen the Master more determined, more grim. Frankly, young Robin, I'm worried about him.
So am I, Alfred. But the Batman can take care of himself. And right now, we have a few other things to worry about.
Moments later, several thousand miles away, Master Stuntman Jack Edison picks up a ringing phone. Yeah, hello? Who is... Oh, it's you! Don't tell me you demolished another one.
Actually, Jack, this time we had a little help. Somebody bombed the latest Batmobile you built for us right here in the Batcave.
And you want me to build you another one, right?
And the sooner the better. We'll pay the usual, of course, plus a bonus for your inconvenience.
My inconvenience? You're kidding, right? I wouldn't even be here today if your pointy-eared partner hadn't dragged me out of that flamer a few years back, barbecuing himself pretty good in the process. Next to that, a little inconvenience don't exactly count for much. Besides, I've worked out a few improvements for that buggy on paper that I'm dying to try out for real. This just gives me the excuse I needed.
Thanks, Jack. We really appreciate this.
No sweat, kid. I'd build you guys a bouncing bathtub if you asked me. I owe you, and Jack Edison always pays his debts. They need me back on the set, so I gotta run. Your new Batmobile will be waiting at Gotham City Pier 64 in a week. Try not to lose this one so quick, kid. Okay?
Ability to fold space. That is, travel to any part of the universe without moving. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. The spice exists on only one planet in the entire universe.
Well, we shan't be able to kneel in the land.
Do you think I'm going to kick these people out?
Legal? Perfectly. Of course, it'll drag on through the courts.
Just a moment. The people on this land, they put their money into it. Their life work. It's their homes I'll be taking.
Yes.
Do you think I'm going to kick these people out?
Just the same, Holmes, you let poor little Sally throw away a fortune. My dear fellow, I had nothing to do with it. The girl, more power to her, acted on her own. A grand gesture, one she may regret. I don't think so, Watson. There's a new spirit abroad in the land. The old days of grab and greed are on their way out. We're beginning to think of what we owe the other fellow, not just what we're compelled to give him. The time's coming, Watson, when we shan't be able to fill our bellies in comfort while other folk go hungry, or sleep in warm beds, while others shiver in the cold. When we shan't be able to kneel and thank God for blessings before our shining altars, while men anywhere are kneeling in either physical or spiritual subjection.
You may be right, Holmes. I hope you are.
And God willing, we'll live to see that day, Watson.
Well, that takes care of that problem. It's a comfort to know that the car you're driving was hand-built by this country's greatest stunt driver.
But that still does not solve the greater problem, Master Robin. Precisely what are we going to do about the Batman?
Well, I don't know about you, Alf, but I intend to disobey orders. Batman is going to get my help whether he wants it or not.
Shadows spill across the night-lit streets of Gotham like so many random jigsaw puzzle pieces. And in a secluded alleyway where the shadows run thickest.
You've been panhandling all day, old man. Whatever money you took in, I want it. Huh?
Are you all right, Shamrock?
Aye, Batman, just a wee bit grayer around me temples.
You think you're tough, don't you, Batman? But there ain't nobody so tough they can't be wasted.
That's right, punk. Go for it. Pull that knife or that Saturday night special you've got stuffed inside your jacket. Come on, punk. Try it. Give me an excuse.
No way, man. I ain't that crazy. Just read me my rights, and I'll go quietly.
You've got me all wrong, punk. I don't intend to arrest you. I just want to give you a little warning. If anything should ever happen to my dear friend Shamrock here ever again, even if you had nothing to do with it, it's you I'll come looking for, punk. Remember that.
Don't you worry, Batman. That ain't something I'll ever forget.
Sure, that's another one I'm owing you, boyo. Now what can old Shamrock be doing to repay you?
I don't want much, Irish. Just a little information.
But when the Dark Knight detective has explained his dilemma,
Good and Lord knows I'd like to help you, laddie, but I can't. I ain't heard a word in that direction. Maybe if you try one of the others.
I'll do that, Irish. I'll just do that.
in the minutes that follow, the Batman seems to be everywhere at once, prying, probing, asking the same pointed questions again and again. But unfortunately, the answer is always the same.
Wish I could help you, Batman.
Thanks anyway, Slugger.
Forgive me, good sir, but the knowledge eludes me.
Thanks anyway, Poet.
Sorry, Ducky, but I hate a blinking thing.
Thanks anyway, Queen Bess. Thanks for nothing.
And the hunt goes on and on. Batman, don't you ever bother to knock?
I haven't got time to stand on ceremony, sir. I need your help.
Just name it. And when the Batman had finished recounting to Gordon that which we already know.
It's a sort of case that should be overflowing with suspects, Commissioner. And I haven't got a clue. Not one.
That's ridiculous. You're too good a detective not to have uncovered something. And that leads us to the only other conclusion.
Which is?
Subconsciously, you don't want to find any clues. Because the person behind all this is somebody close to you. Someone you care about. Well, Batman, what do you think? Have I struck a nerve, or... He's gone. In all the years I've known that man, he hasn't changed. So mysterious, so elusive. There are times I'm astonished that I ever got to know him at all. At first he was only a shadow, a whispered name, grim symbol at the bottom of a hastily scrawled note that read, "Here are the punks who robbed the First Federal Bank. They're all yours." But slowly, inevitably, the shadow began to gain substance. Put away your weapon, Collins. You're only wasting ammunition.
But, sir, that widow is getting away!
I wouldn't worry too much about that if I were you, Collins. I have the uncomfortable feeling that we'll be hearing from that character again. And I didn't really have to be psychic to make that assumption. And the days and weeks that followed proved me depressingly right. The Joker, the Catwoman, Dr. Death, criminals who had constantly eluded my best men were tracked down by this mysterious manhunter and dumped all but gift-wrapped on my doorstep. Whether he intended to or not, the man was gradually turning my entire department into a laughingstock. Blast him! One way or the other, this has got to stop. The Batman became an obsession to me. Even when my mind should have been on other things, I found myself wondering what made him tick, what strange compulsion drove him. But nothing I imagined could have prepared me for the startling reality, when he and I finally stood face to face. For the first time in my life, I froze for an instant, and that instant was all that he needed. Wait! Come back! But he was already gone, swallowed by the shadows which seemed to spawn him. For weeks I've tried to hunt him down, and now he saves my life, without ever saying a word. In God's name, what kind of a man am I dealing with? I finally learned the answer to that, late that same evening as I sat at my desk shuffling through another seemingly bottomless pile of reports.
Excuse me for dropping in uninvited, Commissioner.
Who? You!
I thought it was about time we had a little talk.
A little talk? Mister, I have only one thing I want to say to you. You're under arrest. This time my gun hand didn't waver in the slightest. Now the Batman stood there for a moment, silent, distant, and then, in a voice that was cold yet strangely compassionate, he began to speak.
Commissioner, for your sake as well as mine, put away that gun. I promise you won't need it.
Oh, and why not?
Because we're two of a kind, you and I. Both dedicated to ridding this city of the two-legged parasites who prey upon the innocent. The only difference between us is that my hands aren't bound by red tape.
Red tape or otherwise, mister, you're talking about the law.
No, Commissioner, I'm talking about justice. For years, Gotham's criminal element has ignored the law you hold so dear, and it's time there was an end to it. I love the law as much as you do, Commissioner, but if I have to bend it to see that justice is done, I won't hesitate. We're on the same side, my friend, and if you don't believe me, then you'd better pull that trigger.
I may be making a mistake doing this, but in this business you learn to trust your intuition. I may not be able to give you much public support, but if there's anything else you need, just... He's vanished again. As if he wasn't even human. Oh, but he was human, all right. Very human. In the years that have followed, I've seen him bleed, seen him cry. In fact, the only thing I've never seen him do is laugh. Just knowing him has affected me in ways I can't even begin to imagine. I've become a better man, striving to follow his example. Though I might hate to admit it, the Batman changed my life. But not nearly as drastically as he's changed the life of my daughter Barbara. She was only a teenager when she first set eyes on the Batman as he swept into the study one night to confer with me. And I suppose I'm not surprised she promptly fell madly in love with him. She was a studious girl, my Barbara, almost mousy. But she was still the daughter of a police commissioner. Babs graduated summa cum laude from Gotham State University with a PhD in library science and a brown belt in the martial arts. She became Gotham's chief librarian, and although her adolescent feelings for the Batman had long since been forgotten, they had obviously left their mark on her. For on the night of the policeman's masquerade ball...
Well, this Batgirl costume really does things for me. I can hardly wait for the midnight unmasking so I can see the shock on Dad's face when he recognizes his plain Jane daughter.
But soon after, as Babs drove toward the party hotel...
Good Lord, that's Bruce Wayne, Daddy's millionaire friend, being kidnapped by a gang of men in costumes. Gotta help him somehow.
And help him she did, with a skill and confidence that made it seem as if she was born to be a crime fighter. And come to think of it, perhaps she was. Babs, or should I say Batgirl, helped Batman and Robin capture Killer Moth, and she hasn't stopped putting her neck on the line since.
Now that's what I call an understatement, Commissioner.
Who? Robin, doesn't anyone around here bother to use the door anymore?
Sorry about that, sir, but there just wasn't time. I assume he's been here.
He's been here all right, looking more disturbed than I've ever seen him. There's something bothering your partner, Robin, something gnawing at the pit of his soul. And I wish to God I knew how to help him. In the clear morning light, Gotham's gleaming Wayne Foundation looms like a latter-day castle. A castle ruled by the firm yet gentle hand of millionaire philanthropist Bruce Wayne.
Morning, Mr. Wayne. Isn't it a simply beautiful day?
If I have any appointments this morning, Mrs. Crown, cancel them. I don't want to be disturbed by anyone.
Gee, that isn't like Mr. Wayne at all. Do you think there might be something wrong with him, Mr. Fox?
Frankly, I don't know, Caroline, but you can bet your bifocals I intend to find out.
Mr. Fox? Wait, you're not supposed to go in there. Oh, what's the use?
If you'd like to talk about it, Bruce, I'd like to listen.
I thought I told Caroline I didn't want to be disturbed by anyone.
That's okay, I'm not anyone, I'm Lucius Fox, remember? Your friend. And mister, right now you look like you could use one.
I don't want your help, Lucius. I'll ask for it.
The devil you will, fellow. You wouldn't ask for water if you were dying of thirst. That's just not your style. But that's partly why we work so well together. I know what you need without your ever asking. And I know what you need now, just as I knew what you needed on the day we first met. You took time to listen then, and you not only liked my idea, but you demanded that I take charge of it. Every time I turned around after the success of my plan,
You entrusted me with more authority, more responsibility, and helped mold me into the man I am today.
Any debt you think you owe has been repaid 1,000 times over. You've earned your success, Lucius. Never forget it.
Still, if there's anything I can do, and I mean anything...
I appreciate the offer, Lucius, but this is something I have to work out for myself.
Okay, well, you know where to find me.
All those windows, and behind one of them probably hides my mysterious quarry. The more I consider it, the more I'm convinced that Gordon was right. It has to be somebody close to me, someone I trust. Maybe even someone like... Oh my God!
It has finally grown dark once more, and at last, a somber black-clad figure prowls across the sprawling grounds of Wayne Manor. A shadow gliding past other shadows, up to the old front door.
Lord, how empty this place feels without Dick and Harvey living here. But it isn't empty anymore. In fact, this house is filled to overflowing with memories. Even after we have been gone, the specters of the past live on, eternal, immutable.
You know what I want to be when I grow up, Daddy?
Let me guess, son. A fireman? A dog catcher? Perhaps the president?
No, Daddy. I want to be just like you. You're a doctor. You help people.
That's what life is all about, Bruce. Helping people. Our love, our compassion, are the only things that set us apart from the beasts of the field. Promise me you'll never forget that, Bruce.
I won't, Daddy. I promise.
And I haven't forgotten. In my own way, I've tried to help. And it's cost me, Dad. God, how it's cost me.
I wish I could wear a suit like that, Daddy.
I'll save it for you, Bruce, to wear when you grow up.
Oh, Dad. If only you'd known. If only you could have known how that costume would change my life.
Your uniforms, young sir and master. Commissioner Gordon has need of you.
And I've always responded to those in need, without an instant's hesitation. But what about my needs? What about me? So many ghosts, so many memories. Maybe it was a mistake for me to come here. Maybe I should have stayed...
The Batcave walls! Closing in on me! What a fool I've been! If he could strike at the heart of the other Batcave, I should have known he would also strike here.
Me, Batman? I do have a name, you know. Why don't you simply call me Bruce Wayne?
Because you're not real. You don't exist.
No, if you had your way, I wouldn't exist, would I? Because of you, I've lost my friends, the women I've loved, maybe my very sanity. That's why I intend to destroy you, Batman, so that Bruce Wayne can finally start living.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I have to let the Manhunter overwhelm the man. Maybe it would be easier to simply put down my arms and let these walls put an end to my misery.
No! That's the coward's way out, and you know it.
Who? Lord, no! Dad, you're wearing your old costume.
You've got to fight it, son. Don't give up. You must never give up.
Don't you understand, Dad? It's just no good anymore. Look at me. I've tried to kill myself. What good is a Batman who is rapidly losing his mind?
But that's just it, son. You're not going mad. There was that warehouse explosion you were caught in. Somehow it's affected your mind, creating temporary schizophrenia with paranoid delusion. But you can beat this, Bruce, if you'll fight it.
No! It's too late!
It's never too late, son. Not for a man who has courage. The world needs you, Bruce. I need you. Because you make a difference. Because you care. Go on, son. Get out of here. I can hold the walls open until you're safe. Did you hear me, son? Run! The world is waiting for the Batman!
No! I can't. I can't let you die. Not again. Not again.
If I never go through that again, I won't miss it. Are you all right, Batman?
Yes. I think I'm going to be fine now. Thanks to you. Robin.
You knew it was me in the costume?
Does it matter? All that's important is that I'm myself again. I think the demons that have haunted me have finally been banished.
I figured all it would take would be the right kind of shock to snap you back to your senses. And it looks like I was right.
I'd like to be by myself for a while, if that's okay, chum. There are a lot of things I have to sort out for myself. A lot of choices I have to make. And in case I haven't mentioned it, little friend, thank you.
You're welcome, pal.
again. Then he put it by again.
Alexa, volume 10.
Oh no! Oh no!
A beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the year 10,191. The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice expands consciousness. The spice is vital to space travel. The Spacing Guild and its navigators, who the spice has mutated over 4,000 years, use the orange spice gas, which gives them the ability to fold space. That is, travel to any part of the universe without moving. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. The spice exists on only one planet in the entire universe. A desolate, dry planet with vast deserts. Hidden away within the rocks of these deserts are a people known as the Fremen, who have long held a prophecy that a man would come, a Messiah, who would lead them to true freedom. The planet is Arrakis, also known as June.
So I've been on a side note from Sebastian Smalls here. I've been on a good luck streak with this tarot reader thing. I got happiness, and then in the last one I got like balance and making good choices or whatever. So I'm on a roll here. So I got everything quiet, so hopefully you can hear. Alright, listen to this. We're gonna go see if we can keep the good luck streak going. Alexa, start tarot reader.
Would you like me to draw a card?
Yes.
You drew the reverse knight of discs. It depicts a knight in heavy armor riding his steed through a field of grain while his shield radiates energy. It means someone or situation affected by greed and sloth. It is a get-rich dream that will never happen. It pegged jealousy. It is a businessman who is putting on airs to impress with his puffed-up successes. A blowhard who is a coward. A situation that is all bluster and little payoff. Do you want me to draw another card?
No.
Goodbye.
Alexa, knock knock.
Knock knock. Who's there? Affixed. Affixed who? Affixed your door. That'll be $50.
Oh, and I don't know if you could hear the trivia. I wanted, like, this is hamburger, but if you flatten your hands, this is peace. There was a bit of noise when I tried to tell you last time. This was a fun one. As usual, if you're hearing this worked. We begin by simply listening. Slow down and see just how peaceful today can be. It was my honor to be here with you, and catch you guys on the flip side.